Well, there we are. Our first live stream for Hello Children. I'm going to go get my coffee because I need coffee. And I don't know about the delay, so there's probably a chat here. Yes, there is. There's the chat. 1 moment. Oh, I have a 1 moment thing that's been there we go. And we're back. I have no idea if there are people here or not, but we're back nonetheless. I don't know what the delay is, but that's something I'm going to have to figure out down the road. So if you type something in the chat, sign into chat. All right, I'll do that. Continue to YouTube. Apparently I have to sign in. Does that work? Oh my lord, they want me to two-step verify. All right. Well, I can't see if you're chatting to me. I'm setting this up for the first time. Are you trying to sign in? Yes, asshole. There we go. Wow. Hello, children. Selecting a channel. Jesus. Close. I'll just say hello, children. Hello, children. Okay, I'm on the Hello Children channel. So, children, what are we going to talk about today? Well, first I have to have my coffee. Oh, there you are. There you are. Sunday, I came over here to sit in my recording seat and to record because I've been busy all this week and haven't had time to haven't had a lot of time to record, so we're doing it now. We're recording. Let's see now. Apparently, according to this streaming software, the graphics card on this computer is barely up to snuff. Well, let's look around. This is technically I'm doing this on OBS, but there's an overlay called Prism, which makes it easy for people like me. There's chat. We'll put that over here. Huh. It almost looks like Hello Chicken of Florida. It's 9:35 in the morning here, which means it's 10:35 in the morning in Oklahoma and 11:35 in the morning in Florida. Well, let's see here. I'm going to spend a couple of minutes looking at some things. See, there's probably chat. What's all going on here? I wish I had hover to discover. Today is November the 26th. It did snow outside the last couple of few days. You can see a little bit of it out there, but nothing really to speak of. It snowed a lot in terms of time, but it did not snow in terms of volume. But it did snow for about 2 days. I think the total accumulation was maybe an inch a day, 2 inches. Very powdery, very dry. Any little bit of wind and it's gone. Nothing sticky, heavy, etc. So pretty decent snow all in all. What to talk about? This is the process I go through when I make you a video. I chop it up into 11 minutes, but I ramble on for hours. It's probably best you're not here to suffer me and suffer through the process, though you'd be better for it. Well, it's Sunday. Everyone's getting older. You're getting older. The Terry Show's getting older. Beverly is getting over. Miss Beverly. Aunt Ilea is getting rougher. Aunt Allie, or Grandma Allie, what's the difference? It's getting rougher. And I'm just getting better. I've considered it's at odds with my goal of traveling a bit from time to time. Since I've been displaced in you guys' lives and we see each other a couple of times a year because of the choice to move to Florida, I thought, why not make lemons out of lemonade, and I'll travel a little bit. Second world countries, cheap places, but I thought I'll just travel a little bit. But at odds with the goal of travel a little bit has been my desire for chicken, or 2, or 3, or 4. No more than 4. No more than 4 chickens. But chickens, like reptiles, are a responsibility. Chickens are a responsibility. They really are. And I want the chickens because I want to know what's in my eggs. I'll feed the chickens table scraps. I've been to second world countries. Poor people have chickens. I can have a chicken. In addition to chickens, the other thing I thought of, because I've kept quail before, and I really got a lot of joy out of keeping quail. And so in addition to chickens, I thought about, funny enough, not quail, though I used them as the example, I thought about rabbits. Now, these rabbits would be bred to be in a crock pot at some point. These would be meat rabbits. They're a sustainably source of meat. I would butcher my own rabbits, so for the vegan people out there, I've got 14 subscribers. I'm sure 1 or 2 or 3 of them are delightful family members of yours. I'm sure they keep a log in case they ever need to go to court someday. But yeah, I thought about taking, so if there's a vegan out there among you, well, you're about to be educated in the ways of meat. But I would dispatch my own rabbits in the same way that I dispatched my own quail. The chickens would live on because they produce eggs. If the rabbits could lay eggs, I think they'd have a better life. So there's that. There's this desire to do a little urban farming, little chicken, little rabbit in that little backyard area that I have for the shed. And so I thought about that, and then, but it's at odds with traveling because now it's like having a pet. If you travel and you have a pet, you have got to find somebody to watch the pet, You've got to find somebody to feed and water the pet, or you have to board the pet in some pet boarding facility, and that's no good for anybody, least of which the pet. And so, yeah, this farming itch that I have requires a little bit of rootedness, a little bit of stay at home. It's at odds with my desire to travel. Though, I thought to myself, I could always have seasonality, meaning I could say March, because the only time I really like to travel is February, because it's cold here and everything on the map is cheap that's warm. And so I thought I could raise rabbits and get a few clutches of cute little bunnies before I grow them out and put them in the freezer. Maybe 2 clutches of rabbits, or even 3, and wrap up rabbit harvest season, say in November, something like that. I could do that. I could build out 2 hutches for a buck and 2 does. I guess that would be 3 hutches, and just do a few clutches of rabbits, and then at the end of the season sell the breeding pairs to someone else, and then just rebuy them back. And the idea would be, and maybe out of every clutch I sell 1 little baby bunny rabbit to someone to cover the cost of food, and then it could be a cost neutral enterprise. Some business for you this morning, children. Cost neutral. The point of it would be to get, I don't know, dressed out. We're looking at 3 to 4 pounds of meat per rabbit. They're called fryers. Each doe has about 8, so 3 clutches total. That's 24. So you're looking at about 75 pounds to 100 pounds of meat. It's quite a, it's a freezer full. I wouldn't need more than that. So yeah, I would just breed them a couple of 3 times, kill off all the children in a non-Hitler-esque fashion, put them in the freezer, and make rabbit fricassee, I don't know what it is, but some sort of rabbit dish. I was thinking of a crock pot something or other. And I could make a breading with the eggs that the chickens make. I would name the chickens, by the way. The quail were named after Republicans. We had Condoleezza White, whom you know nothing of. We had Dan. We had Cheney. We had Barbara. That's George W.'s wife. And so I thought about naming the chickens after Democrats, like Egg OC, for example. You can't get away from names like Martha or Henrietta or something like that. But Egg OC, Hillary, we'll name like just some attitudinal chicken. Hillary, her name will be Hillary. We'll say it like that. And yeah, so there we go. That's my thoughts. My Sunday morning thoughts are of farm animals and travel. That's what it is. Farm animals and travel. I think you guys are coming down. Mother's buying a ticket for December, around Christmas time. I think it would be nice to do something in the summer-ish. Spring break is always so cold. But I also know you have your own plans, dreams, hopes, aspirations, oftentimes for the summer, including jobs, including working, including those sorts of things. So I do my best to time trips around your lives. You have lives, and so yeah, if you have a thing you're doing, a job you're doing, it's not like you can tell your boss, I'm going to go see my dad for 4 days or something like that. So so I try to choose times of the year where it would be obvious time off, for everybody, that kind of thing. So some thought that goes into your travel as it pertains to your twice a year visit. So you're getting older. You're 16 and 14 respectively. 3 years till Eric's cooked and done at 19, and 5 years till Emma's cooked and done at 19. I'm giving it 18 plus 1 makes it 19. And you're probably going to want to do something that allows for a degree of autonomy. I've talked a lot about vision. It's not really my idea, vision. It's a Genesis chapter 2 idea, when God told, oh, it's Sunday, we should talk Bible. When God told Adam and Eve, rule, subdue, have dominion. That's what mankind, men and women together, as a team, are supposed to rule, subdue, have dominion over the earth. And when he said that to them, he took his authority and he gave it to people. So you have to have one of these, a flesh tent that your spirit inhabits, to have authority to enact things, to manifest on the earth. That's why rule, subdue, have dominion. He took what he had and he says, y'all run this now. That's what humankind is supposed to do. And the earth is a big place, so he created a garden called Eden, and he put Adam in it. And it's interesting that Adam didn't go to the garden of his own accord, meaning, having a career path called gardening wasn't his idea. It says he was placed in the garden, and so that would suggest to me that there's something to seeking first his kingdom and his righteousness. There's something to looking upwards to figure out what you're supposed to be doing on this earth. Looking upwards to figure out, or if the Spirit of God lives in you, looking downwards. That's why you bow your head to pray, by the way. It's an acknowledgement of what's in here. But looking upwards or downwards and acknowledging God and saying, well, why am I here? What would you like me to do? He put mankind in this garden and said, work hard and cultivate. Cultivate that garden. That's what they're supposed to do. And as we all know, cultivate means to improve upon. To improve upon your personal life, your skills, your abilities, your environment, your people around you, to improve upon. Very important, by the way, Emma. If you're ever looking at a man, you want to find one who works and who improves upon. It's part of the original model of a dude and the iterations contained therein. If he doesn't want to work or improve upon, then, you'll be his mama. And if you fancy being some fella's mama, then you can find a gamer, and you can be his mama. And even if he's a rich gamer, you will be his mama in spirit, and you will come to have contempt. Trust me, this is the case. And so no woman wants to be a young man's mama. You'll find that out with Ryan and his woman in a few years, when that thing sort of fizzles out. Or should I say Ryan's woman and her boy in a few years. So, having a vision is really important. Vision comes from God. It's there's this verse where it says, God gives you the desires of your heart. And that can be read two ways. Way number one is that if you have desires in your heart and God gives you what you want. But the other way you could read it is that if you have desires in your heart, they were put there, in that the things you want, you don't want by accident. You're fearfully, wonderfully made, and so the idea is that you want the things you want because you were designed that way. Pre-installed dreams, pre-installed vision, pre-installed the natural inclination of your heart that's good is not there by accident. It's some act of grace that you were given some kind of direction. So if there are things that are important to you, there's a reason that they're important to you. They're part of your pre-built ethos, I would say. And if you don't know what the things are that are supposed to be important to you, then perhaps you need to seek first his kingdom. And what I mean by that is being still and knowing that God is God, and seeking, because a lot of times who we think we are and what we want is not as clear because we've failed to spend time with the author of your dreams. And because I think my thought is to think that I authored all of my dreams is a little bit presumptuous. If you're a person who believes in God, in a God, if you're not an atheist, and I think any atheist worth their salt could at least be agnostic, just from a scientific standpoint, you should be at least agnostic, minimally so. Yeah. Well, it's 9:53 a.m. here. It's 10:53 a.m., pushing 11 in Oklahoma, and it's 11:53 a.m., almost noon. If you haven't had breakfast by now, what is that mother of yours doing? Tell her to crack an egg. Put it in a skillet. It's not that difficult. Don't use a Dutch oven because that takes skill. Some women don't have skill in the kitchen. I have skill. I would be a better wife than many women out there. I have skills in the kitchen. I can whip up a meal. I can whip up a gourmet meal. I enjoy cooking, actually, but it's sad that people think that's a gendered activity, though some of the best chefs in the world, Gordon Ramsay, are men. Yeah, of course we are. Of course we are. You think Ilea cooks. Maybe she does, Maybe she's useful after all. Whip up an egg. Put an egg in a skillet. Fry it up. So, well, children, I don't have a fancy outro for you. Actually, I might have. I have a little away from the keyboard slide with a cigar and looks like a bottle of brandy or a thing. And so I'll leave you with that. I think that's all I have for now. My coffee is nearly empty. And this is your father broadcasting, actually, live from colorful Colorado, where youth meets opportunity. This isn't going to be as smooth as it normally is. And you, yahoos, will be listening to this in sunny Florida, that flaccid state of Florida, where old people move your mother, and she decides, and then goes back to Texas. Maybe Terry should move there. It would be an indication of her impending doom. But old people go to die. Middle-aged people hit the unforgiving but ever fair wall. By the way, Emma, speaking of the wall, women have important decisions to make earlier in life than men. And because of that, women are given a decided advantage over men in their 20s. Men don't have to think about the things that a woman has to think about at such an early age. I think this is why your prefrontal cortex, the ability to say things like, no, or I don't think that's a good idea, or maybe we should think about this before we do this. That ability, which does not exist in young men until about the age of 23, 4, 5, shows up early in women. Women, they mature quicker because they have important life decisions to make early, right? And so it's very important that you think about, at some point, maybe when you're a little bit older, but you think about what kind of a life you want, and specifically, do you want children? Is that even important to you? If it is important to you, you have a window. Most women have a window. You don't see a lot of 30, 40-year-old women going, I'm going to find a man, and I'm going to get married, and I'm going to make babies, right? Your mother did it when she was 22. She made that decision with me when she was 22. Wanted to get married, wanted to have children. Notably, it's one of the few things she got right in life. Notably, she didn't wait until she was 32, and the old eggs start drying up. She didn't wait. So if you do want children, God gave you a specific advantage. A better brain so you can make good decisions, and your youth. You're never more attractive as a woman than you are from 18 to say 27, that little decade in there. And so if you want children, you have to leverage that and go find a good man and do all of those things. Men don't have this pressure. Men don't have this thought if they want children or not, but it's something that should be considered early. Men can just wait until they're 30 and piss all, just whatever. But it's something you have to consider. If you've not thought about it, maybe you have thought about it, but if you've not thought about it, it's better to think about it and decide for or against early in life rather than think about it when you're 30 and go, oh, you know what? That is important to me. So it's something you have to think about. It's something you must consider. If you don't want them and you're quite certain you don't want them, you can disregard everything I've just said. But if that's a possibility, that's something you have to think about. And you have to think about it early. So when you're 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, somewhere in there, you have to kind of live, date, whatever, with some degree of purpose and be thoughtful about the people that you're around and be looking for red flags. And all of this to say, your youth plus your brain gives you an advantage to be the chooser for a season of life. You've got about a decade where you can pretty much put yourself in the orbit of somebody that you think's a good idea. You've got a decade to be intentional about this. And then after that, diminishing marginal returns apply. Wow, didn't know I was going to have that talk today, but there it is. There it is. Eric, for you, you've got all the time in the world. And you're not going to be that bright until you're 23, 24, 25. And it's a reason, by the way, and I'm not saying you're stupid, you're actually quite brilliant, but there's a part of your brain that causes you to pause that's developed a little bit later in life than girls. And it's the reason that a rental car company won't rent to an 18-year-old boy. You can get booze, no, it's 21. Even at 21, I don't think a rental car company will rent to you at 21. But you can get booze, you can get tattoos. Don't color on yourself. It's ridiculous. Don't be a child. I lost the urge to color on myself when I was 5. Maybe you'll grow out of it sooner, I don't know. But yeah, it's when you're 25, I think it is, you can rent a car because of this reality. Boys' brains develop later, but boys' awesomeness is developed later too. A boy in his 20s should not be chasing tail. You should not be gynocentric. You should not be looking for women. You should be looking for purpose and crushing life. You should be building your career, your business, so that you have some kind of a life to invite this woman into. That's probably important. But I wouldn't look at a woman until I was 30, because you'll be older, you'll have your brain together, you'll have your shit together, Yeah, you should wait. And I think boys should wait. I think girls shouldn't if they want children. And this whole freeze your eggs and this feminism bullshit, it's just that. It's bullshit. Look at anybody who's had kids. When did they get married? 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, talking about the women. 26. It's getting iffy there. It's getting a little iffy at 26. 27. Shit. Oh my God. I shouldn't have been clubbing around. Yeah. Slim pickings out there nowadays, children. It was slim pickings when I was married to your mother back in the day. It's definitely slim pickings now. Not sure what to tell you. Though I think the Z generation, to your benefit, I think the newest generation is leaning a bit more conservative, which means less stupid. It's like we're keeping up with the slowest kid in the class. So, yeah. Where was I? Oh, yeah. This is your father speaking from colorful Colorado, where youth meets opportunity, and you yahoos will be listening to this in that flaccid, wrinkled, bald state of dangly state of Florida. Just sad. Where old people go to die and middle-aged people hit the unforgiving but ever fair wall. That's all I have for now, children. Love you, and I'm certain you and I will talk again.